Hi, it's Andy, and another week with our sermon teaser, and we are almost through the Old Testament now. In fact, reaching the book of Haggai, we're now beyond the exile. The people of Judah have been taken off to Babylon, and now many years later they're back, and well, they had done some great things, but you may have noticed I'm not well shaven today. I'm not shaven at all today. I didn't shave yesterday. Don't recall if I shaved the day before, honestly, or not, but shaving is just not a priority for me. I don't like a beard. It gets too itchy and whatnot, so I try to stay relatively clean shaven, if you will, but, well, sometimes my priorities are not to shave. And that's what the book of Haggai is about priorities, and it has nothing to do with shaving, but when the people were returning from exile and they got back to Jerusalem, they saw the place in ruins, and they began to clear the area so that they could rebuild the foundation of the temple, and they did. Well, they ran out of money, and so they stopped. And that may be a reasonable thing, but Haggai picks up the story some 20 years after they had returned, and they hadn't done anything to the temple yet. God challenges them. In fact, he says in Haggai, "Consider your ways," because while they had neglected to do anything for God's house, they had taken good care of their own houses. It says, "Your houses have panels on them." And, well, they didn't have everything they needed necessarily. They didn't have all the food they needed. They didn't have all the drink they needed. And God says, you wear clothing, but it barely covers you. But you're living in nice houses. But what about me? When we misalign our priorities, what ends up happening is that things get neglected. And God was saying, you can neglect a lot of things. He didn't chastise them necessarily for building their own homes. But what he said is you've neglected my home. And the question for us as we consider our ways is, where are our priorities? And if our priorities are misaligned, are we missing out on something God wants to do for us? And if they're aligned properly with God, how might he respond to us? Well, that's going to be our message this week. I hope you'll join us, and I promise you by Sunday, my priorities will have included shaving. I hope to see you there.